Every time we check in on Disney's upcoming Snow White remake, somehow things get even worse than they were before.
Snow White actress Rachel Zegler only a few days ago decided to tell every single person that had a different political opinion than her.
This woman thinks that, the half of America, more than half of America, shouldn't live in peace.
May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace.
Hello, Disney, you're going to have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig.
Rachel Zegler, the lead in Disney's upcoming Snow White remake, has issued what many are calling a humiliating apology after making controversial comments about former President Trump and his supporters. This apology comes amid mounting pressure, with Disney already dealing with multiple controversies. Zegler's remarks sparked an immediate backlash, resulting in viral outrage, calls for boycotts, and even scathing critiques from public figures like Megyn Kelly, who referred to her as a toxic pig. With a $200 million film project on the line, the stakes are incredibly high. The backlash has thrown the highly anticipated Snow White reboot into chaos, as Disney scrambles to manage the damage to both its image and its investment. The question now is whether this controversy will derail the film's success or jeopardize the future of the studio's plans. Stay tuned as we dive into the unfolding drama.
Disney employs thousands and thousands of actors and actresses, and I'm sure that, most of them, if not all, have made statements in the last week lamenting on social media about Donald Trump, about the election. But there was one actress who stood out, Rachel Zegler, aka Disney's Snow White. She's always been pleasant, so I should have expected this. Weird. But you just have to hear what she posted on her Instagram story. I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leading us towards a world that I do not want to live in, leading us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in, leading us towards a world that will force her to have a baby she doesn't want, leading us to a world that is fearful. I shouldn't be this shocked. But I am. I am heartbroken for my friends who awoke fear this morning. I am here with you to cry, to yell, to hug, to wax poetic on how the left continues to fail us in forging a new path forward. This loss should not have been, and it certainly should not have been by so many votes. I echo Ethel Cain's statement more than anything. May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know.
The numbers are harsh, with Disney's Snow White trailer now one of the most disliked videos on YouTube, amassing over 1.3 million dislikes versus just 100,000 likes. It's performing worse than The Acolyte, and it's hard to believe Disney could make things worse. From unsettling CGI dwarves to a controversial reimagining of a beloved classic, not to mention the lead actress alienating a large portion of viewers with her remarks, it's a perfect storm of poor choices that's threatening to unravel the project entirely.
Every time we check in on Disney's upcoming Snow White remake, somehow things get even worse than they were before. This is a production that went off the rails a long time ago, which is quite an achievement if you think about it. With all the money and technology we have in 2024, somehow Disney is struggling very hard to match the quality of a film from the 1930s. At first, there were the leaked images of the actors playing the seven dwarves, which weren't dwarves at all because that would be culturally insensitive. So instead, Disney replaced the dwarves with a diverse array of magical hobos. Then, when everyone pointed out that the dwarves are kind of important to the story, Disney delayed the production, fired all the actors playing the magical hobos, replaced them with CGI dwarves, which didn't look particularly convincing, but at least they were better than the actors. So some progress was made, I suppose. Goodwill was restored to a degree. Then the star of the film, Rachel Zegler, proceeded to light all that goodwill on fire. She made it clear that she thinks the story of Snow White is actually very creepy and misogynistic.
Things took a sharp turn when Rachel Zegler launched a fierce social media attack against Donald Trump and his 75 million supporters. In one post, she defiantly wished that they may never know peace, and followed up with an F-bomb aimed directly at Trump. She didn't stop there, doubling down with another rant that many described as completely irrational. Given that Snow White relies on a wide audience, including those she's insulting, it's difficult to understand her strategy. Attacking potential viewers in such a public and hostile manner seems like a textbook example of career self-sabotage.
About what's been going on at Disney for quite some time. They've been on a remarkable downward trajectory. This week, Snow White actress Rachel Zegler went full TDS on Instagram, saying that Trump represented another 4 years of hatred, leading us towards a world I do not want to live in, leading us towards a world that is fearful. And she went further, saying that more than anything, anyone who voted for Trump and Trump himself should never know peace. More of the tolerant left in action, it would seem.
Yeah, James, I love these meltdowns because we're really seeing what people are really like, and they're letting the world know. This woman thinks that, the half of America, more than half of America, shouldn't live in peace. It's just, and obviously it's amusing and kind of fun to watch the meltdowns, even as they are making it clear they have no idea why Donald Trump won because they're so disconnected.
After Rachel Zegler's controversial comments went viral, Disney had no choice but to step in and manage the fallout. The internet erupted, with Trump supporters swiftly calling for boycotts, catching Disney off guard. Let's be real. Disney couldn't afford another public relations nightmare, especially after the underwhelming performances of Lightyear and The Little Mermaid and their ongoing cultural clashes with figures like Ron DeSantis. Their box office struggles were mounting. In response, Disney essentially forced Zegler to issue a public apology, one that felt incredibly staged. It was as if the company took control of her phone, wrote the apology for her, and made sure she posted it. No questions allowed. The apology itself was textbook corporate damage control, with Zegler claiming her emotions got the best of her, and that her words added to division. However, it seemed less like a genuine apology and more like a last-ditch attempt to save her career.
The consequences of our actions. That's right. Snow White actress Rachel Zegler only a few days ago decided to tell every single person that had a different political opinion than her that they could F off and that she hopes they have no peace whatsoever. And now today she has bent the knee and apologized. Let's take a look back on this. So My Nerdy Home did a good job of documenting a lot of this. Rachel Zegler hopes Trump supporters never know peace, tells her followers to get off X because Elon Musk supported Trump, and ends with an F Donald Trump. This is Disney's Snow White, by the way. She probably won't face any consequences for posting this by Disney due to their unfair double standard. And that's a reasonable assumption to make, considering how things have gone.
As expected, the internet wasn't impressed by Rachel Zegler's apology, labeling it fake, forced, and long overdue. Even Megyn Kelly didn't hold back, calling her a toxic pig. Regardless of one's stance on Trump, wishing harm on millions of people is a bad look, and the timing couldn't have been worse for Disney. To make matters worse, the studio pushed back the film's release by a year, likely hoping to contain the fallout. However, the damage is already done, and fans are calling for Zegler's firing. Disney may have no choice but to heed their demands.
Us should not have been, and it certainly should not have been by so many votes. I echo Ethel Kane's statement more than anything. May Trump supporters and Trump himself never know peace.
Yeah.
What the F? How?
Yeah.
Then she discusses the deep, deep sickness in the country. There's no help, no counsel in any of them. She attacked Twitter and Elon and finished with, F*** Donald Trump.
Man.
Hello, Disney. You're going to have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig and you fired Gina Carano for far less than this nonsense.
This situation goes beyond one actress or one movie. It reflects a larger issue in Hollywood, where stars seem increasingly disconnected from their audience. The Snow White remake was meant to be a universally loved story, but now it's just another casualty of the cultural divide. On top of that, Disney's double standards are hard to ignore. They fired Gina Carano over less controversial comments, yet Rachel Zegler, despite her inflammatory remarks, remains part of the project. It raises the question, how is it possible for Disney to apply such inconsistent standards?
Zegler is plausibly the worst investment Disney has ever made. It's one thing to say that you support Kamala, it's her right to express that. But she has quite literally wished harm on all those who supported Trump. Snow White is mentally unwell.
So where does this leave Disney? In full panic mode, with the Snow White remake becoming one of their biggest misfires. The trust fans once had in the brand is dwindling fast. Let's face it, Rachel Zegler's apology won't fix this disaster or win back the fans she alienated. Disney may need to cut their losses and cancel the project before they throw more money down the drain. Unfortunately, this looks like another major setback for the company. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content.